Three, two, one, go.
Hi, I'm Brian Haas, and this is my review of the Razer Phone 2. So this is the Razer Phone 2. I've had it about 6 weeks. I'm now moving on to another phone, and that's kind of a spoiler alert for how I feel about this phone. Basically, it's a beautiful piece of hardware. It has incredible specs, and it's very fast. Didn't give me any trouble with running apps. It never heated up. The battery is wonderful. It lasts on and on. I took it to PAX South, and it was great in that respect. Where it falls down, though, is some critical areas that basically lead me into the arms of another phone. Despite having beautiful hardware, it has a very second-rate camera. I mean, I guess it's a second-generation effort, but the interface for the camera is horrific and limited and basically a deal breaker for me. It also falls down in another area touted by Razer, and that's in lacking a headphone jack. Now it comes with one little adapter here, and for me this became pretty essential because, as it turns out, the Razer Phone 2 does not get along with my 2016 Subaru WRX, Bluetooth, and it gave me really poor Bluetooth. I tried everything I could figure out to fix it, and ultimately I had to use the auxiliary, which was good for audio, but still had to take calls over Bluetooth, and ultimately it just is not worth the hassle. But really, that aside, the camera is just, again, bad interface, not worth it. Bringing up my car again, I was in my car, sitting in traffic, right next to the car, about 10 feet ahead. There was this beautiful crane bird, and I'm like, I'm going to take a picture with this camera. I could not get a decent shot. And that was the moment where I was like, look, I'm tired of having, over this, I think it was a month at that point, I'm tired of having a phone where I don't even want to open the camera because it's that bad in its response, it's that bad in its usage. Never mind the fact that I can't even store images from the camera on the SD card. It was not a joy to use the camera, and that is just bad. This is like going way back in time. I seem to recall having like a first generation Moto X that had a camera that seemed like it was good but didn't give good results. That's what this reminds me of. And again, it's too bad because otherwise the hardware is beautiful. There's this great 16:9 screen. We got the forward-facing speakers. One of the things I really like about this phone is that in addition to having a beautiful aluminum build, Razer makes and sells, for reasonable amounts of money, cases that are made specifically for this phone. They have some great rubber cases. I ended up using this carbon fiber case, but I easily could have gone with the rubber case and gone back and forth because I think they're just, look how well it fits the phone. Wonderfully. Of course, the only port on the phone is the single USB-C down here. For that, Razer supplies power brick and a single USB-C cable, and with the aforementioned audio adapter, that completes pretty much what comes with it in this gigantic box. It's great presentation. Really impressive phone. It just falls short of the mark for me. I don't care that it lights up. I don't care about some of its other so-called features. I do really like the hardware. I just wish it had a better camera. It had a better Bluetooth capability, better analog headphone capability. Like for instance, if I could get a lot of great USB-C headphones, and if I could get a lot of these adapters easily and cheaply, that would help me. The other thing too is that, like for example, the buttons on here, it has a power button here with a built-in fingerprint sensor, which gets used about 1 million times a day. And then it has 2 volume buttons here. They get used quite a bit because they're in the same spot. They feel great, wonderful hardware, but I have to think, well, what's going to happen in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half when that button fails? Is Razer going to stand by this? And it doesn't seem like they will. Even if I had their extra warranty that I can't buy because this came from the Windows Store, it doesn't seem like they would even want to fix a power button. So that's another thing. So my 3 major concerns. The third one is just, how will Razer support be with the phone going forward? It's just something you have to worry about. Whether the phone has a problem on its own, or, God forbid, I drop it or smash it, how am I going to get it fixed? And it seems like probably going to have to buy a new phone. So that's just the ultimate concern. I wasn't really thinking about that when I was using the phone, but it is something that always comes back to my mind. Moving on to a new phone, oh, that phone's got better direct manufacturer support. Oh, that phone's got better options for repair and replacement going forward. And unfortunately, this beautiful Razer phone doesn't. I did want to mention one thing. Now, look, the front speakers, I like it. I like the bezels. I like the speakers. I like the feel of this phone. It really grew on me. And it is great for entertainment. The only thing about these speakers is they're really not good for playing when the phone is in your pocket. So, for example, if you were walking around listening to like a podcast or music or whatever, and you have the phone in your pocket, it's really easy for these speakers to get obscured by nothing and start making a big buzzing sound instead of playing what you want to hear. Whereas a speaker that was down here that it could use or switch to wouldn't necessarily have that problem. So that's sort of another drawback, is that you have this phone, it's supposed to be this great multimedia thing, it has these huge dedicated spots, areas to speakers, and then you play something, put it in your pocket, and walk 5 feet, and it's going, giving you like Charlie Brown sounds. That's just a small gripe, but a gripe. Really liked the Razer phone. It's a good, just flawed and not great phone, and I'm not going to continue to go with the Razer Phone 2. Hopefully in the future, maybe with the next generation body that they work on, they can add a headphone jack, they can get the interface for the camera to be improved. And those little interface issues, it's not just the camera, it touches around other parts of the OS too, like how the SD card works. If they can tighten up the user interface for the camera, if they can tighten up the Bluetooth standards, if they can tighten up how they want to support the hardware for the phone, this would be a great option because it fits into the Android ecosystem. It fits into its own category of an entertainment, badass battery, badass gaming, badass whatever phone that is different from your typical like iPhone and Galaxies. But it does have these few flaws, and those are just unfortunately a little overwhelming for me at this time. In conclusion, a beautiful piece of hardware. If you don't care about taking pictures pretty much ever, if you don't care about ever using analog headphones or ever driving a Subaru, for example, and using its Bluetooth system, and if you don't care about what happens if the phone breaks, this would be a wonderful phone. I mean, I'm actually going to miss this phone. I'm going to miss how it feels, I'm going to miss how it looks, but I'm not going to miss the camera, I'm not going to miss the Bluetooth and headphone drama. And I'm certainly not going to miss worrying about what am I going to do when this phone hardware starts to give me trouble. Anyway, I'm Brian Haas. Thanks for listening to what I think about this phone, and have a great day. Peace.